Hello, pet enthusiasts. Welcome to Pet Chat. My name is Jason Zakowski, aka Dad Guy, and my co-host, who may sound like a robot, is...
Chris Zakowski, aka Mummy Fave.
Every week on Pet Chat, we allow the community to gather, tell stories, play games, have some fun, and that's what we're going to start with today on Pet Chat. Thanks for joining, everybody. Thank you so much. We are live on Wisdom. We are live on Clubhouse. We are live on Facebook Live, Facebook Live Squared. And then, of course, we're on Twitter Spaces. Again, if you'd like to help us out, we'd love for you to retweet the space. That's a little speech bubble in the bottom right-hand corner. If you could tweet that out, that'd be amazing. We are going to start with our Kahoot game. So every week we play Kahoot, and the Kahoot game is in the top of the nest. If you are on Clubhouse, it's the pinned link. If you're on Wisdom, you go to kahoot.it, and in the title of our show, the code is there, 6542495. And on Facebook Live, I will put the code in the comment section. So if you're listening on Facebook, it's in the comment section. Oh, somebody's at a wedding. Nice. A wedding in the woods. That's why they can't join. You know what? I kind of agree. If you're at a wedding in the woods, that's okay if you can't join. Now, normally I have Chris as my co-host, but our son Adam's shift has changed and she has to drive to go get him. So I'm not sure how often Chris will be able to chime in until she's either picked them up or they're back at home, because we don't want you to be driving and talking at the same time. Okay, so one more call for Kahoot up in the top there. Please sign in. We'd love for you to play. We got some fun questions. We have a little bit of off the rail questions this week for our game. And again, if you're on Twitter Spaces, it's the pinned. It's up in the nest there. Kahoot is free. You just have to click on the thing, and then you literally just have to put in your name, and you're ready to go. So while we're waiting, I'll give a shout out to the people that I see: Indra, Paula, Cerra, Jamie. We got Dr. Bev Stewart, Blue, Ramona. We have Moodles and Boodles. We have Pink Princess in the City. We have Susan. We've got KF Cooper, TK. We have Anne Marie. We have Susan. We have Let's Go Canes. Must be for the Hurricanes. Allison Roberts. We have Joash, Chi, Sandy, Kendra, Blythe, Kathy, Scoosy, Katrina, Aaron, and Lucy the Golden, and finally Danielle. And there's probably going to be more people chiming in as we go. All right. Okay, I think we'll move on to Kahoot in about 10 seconds here. So it's just our game that we play at the start. All right. Okay, here we go. We're going to start playing Last Call for Kahoot. All right, here we go. Okay, and if you're not playing Kahoot, that's okay. I can read out the questions as we go. Question number 1. Okay. The Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine went to Svante Pääbo for, so this has happened last week, allergy testing, heart implants, finding out why our ankle randomly hurts sometimes, and decoding Neanderthal DNA. All right, so which one of those is correct? Allergy testing, heart implants, finding out why our ankle randomly hurts, or decoding Neanderthal DNA? It was for decoding Neanderthal DNA. On the Science Pawdcast this week, I talked about that this amazing scientist used ancient bones, and he found a way to take DNA from them when they thought it was impossible, and he decoded Neanderthal DNA, as well as the Devosians, which were another ancient human that died out. So these two strains of humans, Neanderthal and Devosians, they died out, but they intermingled with our ancestors. So in you and me, all of us, we have these genes that came from the Neanderthals, which is wild. And that's why he won the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine. So in first place, we have Jamie, Lucy, Ben, Bean, Heather, and then Kat. Okay, moving on to question 2. Question 2, which animal in the house always comes to greet the family when they get home from work? This is our family. So which of these is correct? Bunsen, both dogs, Beaker, or both dogs and the cat? So this is something that we found. This is 100% all of the time. Which animal in our house always comes to greet the family? We've talked about it on the podcast a few times. It is every creature, every single creature. Both dogs and Ginger come to meet us. Bunsen and Beaker are right at the door, and then about 2 steps back is Ginger sitting prettily, just staring at us. And it's super cute that Ginger, a cat, really wants to see people when they come in the house. So she's becoming kind of like a dog, which is pretty cute. Okay, we have Jamie, you stayed in first place. Good job. Carousel, Lucy, Bean, and Paula is in second. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can chime in, Chris, but do you notice that too? Maybe you're in the bad reception area.
Not quite in the bad reception area, but maybe if I sound like a robot. Yeah, the 100% they do. I have Bunsen, Beaker, and then now Ginger, but have you told about her new trick? Is it in the quiz?
No, it's not in the quiz. It can be part of our discussion though.
Oh, okay. Well, just stay tuned for that part of the discussion.
Okay. All right. Next question. We spoke to Shannon Riley Connor, who's part of Truly Force Free Training, and she's this amazing dog trainer. What are Chris and I having trouble with Bunsen and Beaker? Bunsen or Beaker? Bunsen is up at 5. Beaker is slamming into windows. Bunsen and Beaker are humping each other. Beaker won't listen when she is outside. So we're having trouble, and we... Oh my goodness. It's Bunsen is up at 5 a.m. We got a whole bunch of people. Beaker is actually doing a great job of listening outside, and I'm going to be talking about that this week, like when our quiz is done. No, Bunsen is up at 5 a.m. So we spoke to her in that space about how we can stop Bunsen from being up at 5. And it's basically, just our fault because he barks, and then we get up and feed him, and then he's rewarded for being up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we are stopping that, and he is very confused and sad. Okay. Oh, we have a new person in first place, Carousel, followed by Paula, Jamie, Ivy, and Lucy. Okay, next question. On the Science Podcast this week, we talked about this type of unique aquatic creature: a fishing cat, a river bear, a lake tiger, or an ocean elephant. So on the Science Podcast this week, we talked about one of these types of animals. Oh, we got a bunch of people. It's the fishing cat of Sri Lanka. So they're about 1.5 times the size of a house cat, and they fish. And the study that I broke down on the Science Podcast is they found out how they fish, and it's the most it's adorable thing. Some of the fishing cats, so they're aquatic. These cats, they go in the water, they swim. This fishing cat, some of them will go into the water up until like just their eyeballs and nose is out of the water. Can you imagine a cat just sitting in the water with just its little nose and its little eyes, and they wait and they wait, and then they pounce on a fish and they get it. And the other ways that they hunt is they pace back and forth where they can stand and they look for a fish. And when they see it, they're really still, and then they swat it out of the water with their paws. So it was a mystery for the longest time how a fishing cat got a fish, because they knew they caught fish. Like they would actually compete with fishermen in the areas for fish, and they would always see these cats with fish in their mouth, and they didn't really know how they caught fish. So they put up a bunch of cameras and they broke down the probability. Anyways, it was a really cool study, and I talked about it on the Science Podcast this week. Okay, we've got Carousel in first, Jamie in second, Paula in third, Lucy in fourth, and Heather in fifth. On to the last question. Okay. Dad Guy nearly got us kicked off Twitter this week because He made a public stance about pineapple on pizza. He auto-DM'd like 1,000 people. He told the Musk where to go. He posted a photo with a dog penis in it by accident. So what did I do that nearly got us kicked off Twitter? Okay, so you guys all saw that thread. Yes, I auto-DM'd like 1,000 people. It was an unintended consequence of something that I tried that was very wholesome, and it backfired horribly. We auto-DM'd over 1,000 people, and then at least 890 of those people responded and swamped our inbox, and we got a message from Twitter that we should stop what we're doing immediately because we looked suspicious or malicious. And I was like, oh no, I sent a message from us saying that Bunsen and Beaker love people back, and yep, just about broke Twitter. So sorry about that, Twitter, if you're listening. Okay, in third place, we have Paula. Congratulations, Paula. In second place, we have Jamie. And I think I know who got first. 5 out of 5. No wrong questions is Carousel. Congratulations. Congratulations, Carousel. Okay, congratulations to couple. So fun. Okay, so that's probably, I'm just reading stuff from the chat. Indra can't wait to know what Ginger's new trick is. Yeah. And then, Sarah says she got one of the DMs. And she has a photo of it. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Not everybody played Kahoot. So I'm going to start talking about my terrible mistake, and I'll try and find the thread and put it up in the nest too. And then Chris, by then maybe you can talk about Ginger's new trick. I don't know if you're out and about and you can speak. No?
I can speak. You know me. I like to talk until my introverted self says, nope, that's enough talking.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Ginger's new trick, or do you want me to go first?
How about you go first, because I'm almost at our location where I pick up Adam, and by the time you're done your story, I will be parked and be able to give full attention to talking and driving.
Okay. All right.
My hands are on the wheel. I have the hands free. My hands are on the wheel, but yes. Yes,
you don't want to crash. All right, so if you're new to Pet Chat, we Chris and I, unless we have a guest, we talk a little bit about our life with Bunsen and Beaker and running this goofy account, and then we'll open up to the community to come up and share their pet stories or ask questions. So I probably should have led with that, but I apologize. Anyways, I have my story this week is about running the account. Early this week, I had this great idea. I've started to use this amazing thing called Hype Fury. It's saving my life. It's this amazing scheduler for tweets. And it does all this great stuff for running a really big Twitter account. And you've probably noticed that maybe how we're tweeting is a little bit different. And it's helping me out, basically. It's like an artificial intelligence program. And one of the things that it had, I was like, oh, this is cool. It has an auto DM function. Now, I did not know that in marketing land or in Twitter land, auto DM is basically evil. Like, it is something that people hate. It's something that is used for nefarious purposes by marketers or by people trying to sell something to auto DM somebody whenever they respond to you, hey, buy my widget, or hey, sign up for my course. People probably use it altruistically, but some people use it nefariously. I didn't know that. I was just like, hey, that's a cool thing. And then I was like, wait a sec. What if I tweeted out, retweet if you love dogs? And then I set the parameters on this AI program to send everybody who retweeted that a message from Bunsen and Beaker that said, we love you too, or Bunsen and Beaker love you back, or something. I thought that would make people's day. They retweeted it, and then just by magic, they'd get a DM from us. And I was like, that would make people's day. I started to feel all warm and fuzzy. And I was like, let's do this. So I forget what day it was. I did it and I sent it. And then I got busy. I started to teach. I went to work and at school as a teacher. If there's any teachers in the classroom, like you don't have time for anything but your kids that you're teaching. You have no time to look on social media, nothing. Like you're busy the entire time. And then lunch rolled around and I looked and I was like, oh, I've made a horrible mistake, because not only were people loving the DM, which was, that was the purpose, people feeling good about it, but they were sending messages back to us, but they were also emoji liking the tweet with a heart. And when that happens, it sent a reply back to us to our DM box. And like a big dummy, I linked our account to my Gmail account. So I got an email every time we got a DM. And then people were getting that and they were tagging people, hey, you should retweet this and talking about it. And it was like on the Twitter algorithm and it was like on the pets, it was trending. So like more and more people were retweeting it. And by the time I realized how awful the mistake I made, it had hit like 700 or 800 retweets. And Twitter was trying to DM us saying, what you're doing is like super suspicious. Please stop. But it was being buried under hundreds of DMs from people with really nice messages and heartfelt responses and photos of their pets. So I had to delete the tweet. And I made a little thread about it because sometimes unintended consequences cause horrific problems. And I sorted my Gmail account out, but our Twitter DM box is just over. Like there are discussions that are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments down. I can never get to them. They're just gone. So if you've been having a discussion with me, I'm sorry, it's buried under heart emojis and photos of dogs. So anyways, that's my story from the week. I learned my lesson. we tried to do this nice thing and it just backfired horrifically. So, give me a heart emoji if you got do an emoji in the space if you got one of the messages from us. If you were part of the lucky 800 to 900 people before I shut that down. Can you imagine, Chris, what would happen if I didn't if I didn't check my phone at lunch? We probably would have been blocked off Twitter, and maybe it would have hit 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 retweets. It would have been a disaster.
It would have been catastrophic, yes. And I see some heart emojis in the audience here. So you guys are very lucky to have received a message from Bunsen and Beaker.
We had some people saying the DM made my day. We got the DM. Yeah, super cute. All right, Chris, are you safe to tell your story about Ginger before we open it up to the community?
Oh, yes,
okay.
I am. I'm parked.
Okay.
There were two motorcycles speeding, and one of them got away, and the other one is caught.
Oh.
A ticket. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know. He was whipping through the parking lot, and one guy got stopped, the other guy didn't, and the guy who got stopped was pointing at his friend, saying it was him. But
he'll rat out his buddy. Guaranteed. There is no honor among thieves once they're put to it.
There you go. All right. Well, Ginger's new trick is called shooting out the door. Yeah. So you get ready and you're up at 5 a.m. because that's what the time Bunsen thinks is the time to be awake. And I was getting the food. Actually, that's a lie. You were getting food. But then I always feed them at 6 o'clock. So I'm a little bit more awake, even if I was up with them at 5.
I don't have coffee yet. When I get up at 5, I just stumble around the house. I guarantee if I was in a zombie movie at 5 a.m., somebody would think I was a zombie and they would probably use an axe on me or something. Yeah,
I don't get it. It's you wake up and I'm usually pretty fresh regardless, and then I'm up and I'm functioning differently than you. Anyway, so Ginger's new trick is called shooting out the door. And so when you're holding a bunch of food because it's in the freezer in the garage, when you're holding food in your hand and you're trying to hold the door open and the dogs are there and your arms are full, the cat shoots out the door. And then you're like, oh, crap. And then you have to go find her in the garage because she wants to be right by the van and go under the van. And so I'm calling her, come here, kitty, come here, Ginger. And she comes right away because she's so cute.
Yeah, because she listens, which is so weird.
She listens. She's a good girl, except shooting out the door part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's not a good trick that she's learned. And there might be a mouse or something out there that she wants. Like maybe she can smell it. Like we can't smell it. But there's something out there that she wants. And, maybe if we just left her out there to her own devices, she would probably get into, I don't know, rat poison. So no, let's not do that.
Hello.
Hi, Adam. I'm just on my story of the pet chat. Oh, say hello. Hello. Yeah, so that's Ginger's new trick. It's called shooting out the door. But I was going to talk about that in conjunction with another story.
Okay.
So with Bunsen getting up at 5 a.m. and our guest who was talking about, maybe there were some changes in the household. The new change I've noticed that Ginger did not do before is she comes into our bedroom and she uses our bed as a scratch post.
Oh, that's so annoying. So this is new.
This is new behavior from Ginger. And it's like, and then Beaker does her job. She jumps off the bed and she gives her the teacher stare.
Yeah, Beaker finds Ginger and just stares at her. Yeah,
but by then, I'm awake, you're awake, Beaker's awake, Ginger's awake, and who else would be awake at that time?
Oh, Bunsen. Oh, he's like, yes. Oh, it's breakfast.
Oh, it's time. It's time to be awake. So
I never thought of that.
Ginger is I did, because I think she's the precipitating event that is causing this to happen, because usually things are pretty calm in the house, pretty calm at night. But no. And then we throw her out of the room. And that's fine. And we close the door. And so Beaker's in the room and Bunsen's outside. And that's fine, except when he wants to come in the room, because he used to have like free reign of the house. And I think he used to just kind of come and sleep on the floor in our room. No big deal. But now we have this. But I tweeted Happy Catterday today. And guess what?
What?
Somebody said, hey, I have a little feral kitten that we rescued from the woods. Any tips on the scratch post? And I said, well, we sprayed it with honeysuckle, but Ginger she's meh about honeysuckle, so we're looking for a catnip spray. And then someone said there's something called sticky paws.
Okay.
And I looked it up, sticky paws. And it's not good for microfiber, but I don't know what our couch fabric is. And because of that, I'm thinking we can just stick it on our bed, around the bed, and then Ginger won't do it. And then maybe Bunsen will sleep in a little longer.
Okay.
Or here's the other idea. This week, our power went out and everything went off, including the fish tanks. So Bunsen thought it was like bedtime.
Oh yeah, that was right. That was hilarious. It was like 7 p.m. Yeah. Yeah. And the power went out and it was pitch black because it's getting, maybe it was closer to 8. I think it was 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Bunsen's like, oh,
I guess it's time for bed. No, toddler time. He skipped toddler time.
He went right to sleep.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
So maybe we just have to
turn off all the lights in the house and cover the sun up.
Well, or just, I don't know, go on the breaker and go boop, everything off. But I don't want to do that.
That was hilarious. He was so confused. You were gone. I was home with him and he's like, what? Kind of like wandered around for a bit and he was like, oh, well, I guess it's time for bed. And then he just went right to sleep where he goes to sleep, like by the front door. He was out like a light. He's like, that's so hilarious.
We were on our way home. I had Annalise and Adam and then you called and said, you better just eat in town because we have no power here.
Yeah, that's right.
You have no power here.
Well, the storm, we had just a bananas level storm that came through. I'm sure some tree fell in a bunch of lines. So, are you done with your story, Chris? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I had, I think 3 stories in one, and I do have one more in my back pocket in case someone needs more stories.
Okay,
but
perfect.
Go ahead.
Perfect. The last thing I'm gonna mention, we don't have, I didn't have time to talk to our sponsor tonight, so I'm not sure. I don't want to commit to something without contacting them, and that's my bad. There's a couple of our threads up in the nest. I wrote I've kind of decided every week to do different types of threads. So one of the threads that I really like writing is our science thread. So we're going to keep doing the science threads, the Super Possum science thread. But another thread that I really, really enjoy doing are goofy threads. And the last goofy thread I wrote really resonated with people. It was a spoof on some of the self-help threads about, being unrecognizable in 30 days. And that one just went crazy big. I think it got over 1.5 million impressions or something like that. Excuse me. And then the other thread that we're doing, and I hope it's not scaring people too much. I'm adding to a story every single day about the coyote just about eating Beaker. And I think some people were a little scared when it started. I'm trying to reassure everybody, don't worry, it's got a happy ending. So just if you haven't seen those threads, I've put those up in the nest because a couple of them are the different types of threads that we're going to do. So if you come up to speak and if you have an opinion on the threads that we're running, maybe let me know. The science threads never do as well as the goofy threads, but that's okay because I think it's really important to communicate science in a thread because you learn so much from threads. Like some other scientists that we follow, they've done a couple and they're really powerful. So, and then the last thing before we go to the community is the Paw Pack Plus, the community that Chris and I have been working on for months, and that the patrons from Patreon, we've moved almost all of the patrons from Patreon to Paw Pack Plus. The community is going to open up to the public this week. And Chris and I shot a video. I've got to edit some more of it. And where the community is now compared to like a couple months ago is night and day. There's just the amount of content there is so awesome. And of course, like this is for people that would like to support what we do. So it's a paid community. But the community is just so much better than Patreon. What folks get who sign up for it is amazing. It's something that Chris and I really wanted to do. We felt Patreon was really superficial to give back what people have given us in support. And this community is really amplifying the giving back to the people that support Bunsen and Beaker and Chris and I. So we're really excited to launch that to the public next week. Okay, Chris, before we go to the community for their stories, do you have anything else to add? Or you're probably driving now?
No, I'm not driving now. I was just waiting. I should have been driving while you were talking, but I didn't. No, I think we can open it up to the community because I'm really excited to hear everybody's stories.
Okay, perfect. Kathy L says keep a small water bottle. Yeah. Okay, so
yeah, I saw those on and I'm glad to hear that Sticky Paws works great because Amazon has it, and I might stock up. I might buy stock in Sticky Paws.
Buy stock in Sticky Paws. So we're going to invite everybody who'd like to either ask a question or talk about their pets to request the mic. So if you were on Clubhouse, nobody's on Clubhouse anymore. There were some people on Clubhouse. Facebook Live is kind of one way. You can ask a question or tell a story in the comments, and we got some people listening on Wisdom, so go ahead. So if you have a story or if you'd like to ask a question, now's the time. Okay, so we've got Jamie up and then Cece to start. Jamie, hello.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're good.
It's what time is it? It's 10:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning for me.
Okay.
Yes. And yesterday, we took the dogs down to the beach, and it was Rose's first trip to the beach, and the first trip for a while for the other two dogs. And my daughter and her boyfriend came, and we all walked along the beach for a while. And of course, the puppy, who is obsessed with water, went straight into the water and then went, "But this tastes strange. What do I do?" Water? But they got to chase sticks and run along the beach and had a lovely time. So, yeah, there's a picture of them on my thread, of course, because there's always pictures of dogs. But this week I don't know if you can hear them. The chickens are having a cackle in the background. Picked up some new hens this week, and our rooster Henry, who is a bit of a horror of a rooster.
Okay.
I don't know how much longer he's going to last. He's a bit savage, and so I got some new girls to try and sort of spread the load for the other hens. Anyway, he spent the first 24 hours panicking that new chickens had arrived. And he screamed for about 24 hours because, dog forbid, there were more hens than he knew what to do with. And he's just calming down now. So this is a good thing. But the puppy, of course, who is a working dog puppy, wants to chase them in all the time. So that, Beaker and her prey drive. This is Rose and her prey drive. And that's going to take a bit of work to get her calmed down. But that's been the last 2 days with pets here.
It is so fun to watch dogs frolic along the ocean. Even like Bunsen, who does not like to get wet very much. He's been to the ocean twice now, right, Chris? 2 times or 3 times?
I want to say 3 times.
3 times. He's been to the ocean 3 times. And it's even though he doesn't like to get wet, he just loves it. He loves running along the ocean. There's so many new smells, but one of the things you said that was really funny is the first time they taste the ocean, and both Beaker and Bunsen tasted the ocean, and they're like, "What the heck? This is so weird."
Yeah. So that in that picture, because I live in North Queensland, we're behind the Great Barrier Reef, and so we don't have massive waves. So for us, big waves are sort of half a metre high.
Yeah.
No surfing here.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go paddleboarding probably.
Oh, lots of people do, yes.
Oh, I would love to go.
Sorry, you keep going.
No, I would. Wherever I've been paddleboarding is like, if you fall off, the water will kill you cold. Like, it's just so. It's not like Australia water. It's like, mountain lakes or the Pacific Ocean off Vancouver Island. So.
No, I stuck my foot in a glacial lake and went, that was too cold for me. So I've spent the week working on a beach, and fortunately, by yesterday, the wind had dropped down because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had marine weather warnings. And I was trying to work on the beach, and it was very, very windy. But it was really nice yesterday.
Okay. Well, Jamie, thanks for... Oh, I heard the chicken, or rooster.
Henry, yes.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your story and making me wistful for the beach. We're not going to get there till next summer, so there we go.
Oh, well. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for coming, Jamie. Okay, over to CC. And again, if anybody is in the audience that would like to come up, you can request the mic. CC, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jason. Hi, Chris. I hope you all are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a question, but actually I have a quick story that's
go ahead.
Related about before of Rose and Bunsen and Beaker tasting the ocean reminded me of it. So I grew up in Maryland, near the Chesapeake Bay, which is brackish, which is a mix of salt and fresh water. And so when I was in preschool, so 3 or 4 years old, we did a science project where our teachers had different cups of water for all of us. And so they were fresh, brackish, and sea and salt water. Mm-hmm. And you had to drink the cup.
What? Okay.
In order to we talked about the different kinds of what makes the water different. And stuff like that, and a way that little kids can understand. Mm-hmm. And so part of the way that they kept everybody in change was okay, you have to drink your cup. and my cup was brackish and it was very gross. So I relate to the what the heck is this?
Were you told that what it was? Like, or did
No, you had to figure out what kind of water you had.
I love it. That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool, like as a science project.
Mm-hmm. Well, humans can detect it like very, very low levels of sugar or of salt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so my question, I mean, I often don't get to pet chat, but so my family's dog is a Bichon. Her name is Mia, and she's 12. Mm-hmm. She's the best, but I don't live with my family because I've moved for work. And so I'm thinking about adopting a rescue dog. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering if anybody had any tips for like welcoming a new dog while you're working full time.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if I can speak from experience or Chris. Chris is gone. Chris is now a listener, so I'll have to move around. What happened to Chris? But we had a guest on, and her name is the Pup Mummy. And I'll see if I can find something of hers and put it up in the nest, because that's what she specializes in, CC. She specializes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she specializes in how you welcome a shelter dog into your family. And let's see, here's the Pup Mummy.
I can feel like if the space was recorded or if it was on the podcast, I can like also look up the episode.
No, I got it. It's in the nest now. It just took me a second to find it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. So like if anybody else has, we got some people coming up, maybe they could, okay. So we'll do a thing here. We've got a couple people. I don't know about that. So, Ocean Emily, your hand was up. Did you have something to add? Did you come up to answer that question from Tracy?
Yeah, I was going to post pictures, but then that pulled me away from the mic, and then y'all started chirping at me. I'm like,
sorry.
But that's okay. Yeah, so I started working in like a humane society like environment in 2011. I went home 2012. I came back 2013, late 2013. And I worked at that shelter until 2019. Mm-hmm. I had a kid, so on my mat leave, I took through Animal Behavioral College, which is based out of the States. It's like a year-long like dog training program.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just for like basic obedience and like, common problems, right? And then when I returned to my work at the SPCA, I moved into like the behavioral or like wellness position. So I would like facilitate like adoptions and answer questions and like do all that type of stuff. So it's definitely like my most favorite job that I've ever had was working with animals. But yeah, so I don't know, I guess like, I'm used to getting lots of questions just like that.
So Cece, go ahead. Like Cece's question is maybe one or two tips for welcoming a shelter dog home. If you could help her with that, that'd be great since you have experience.
There's like kenneling for the first week.
Okay.
If you're not there, and even if you are there, just like a couple hours, just like in the kennel, and like even overnight, the first couple nights in the kennel. It doesn't have to be forever, but you're giving the dog like an area that belongs to them, and you're teaching them routine, and you're not giving them like total free roam of the space, which is important for safety. And it also like fosters that relationship where you are like in control, but in like not in a negative way, right? It's like the dog has a place. And yeah, kenneling the first couple days helps a lot, I think. And then, you have the dog out while you're present. And then if they start doing something, you can like correct them right away. It's not like, you leave them the second day you got them and you come home and like everything's chewed up type of thing.
Ocean, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I was going to say a crate, but again, like I'm not speaking from an area of authority or experience. So Ocean, thank you for chiming in and being here to answer that question.
Of course, yeah. Also, if the crate is like covered, so it's more den-like the plastic ones are better. If it's like a wire cage, then they're going to feel like they're in a wire cage. So if you have one, like I covered mine with a blanket, like I had a big Great Dane size one. So I just cover it with the blanket. So it felt like more comfy, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Mia has a covered crate. We got her as a puppy, but the breeder recommended it, and it's been really helpful. Yeah, thanks so much, Ocean, and thanks so much, Jason, for sharing the Melanie, the pup mommy resource as well. Thanks.
You betcha. And Cece, we interviewed Melanie for a special edition of Pet Chat. It is in our RSS feed somewhere. I don't know if I can find it while I'm talking to you right now, but if you listen to the Science Podcast, it's there. And she's amazing. That's what she's devoted her whole life to, is helping people bring home shelter animals.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect. So there are some accounts that are requesting to speak, and I'm just not familiar with a couple of them. So I've DM'd, if you're requesting to speak, I've DM'd you just because I do want to make sure that like some folks who come up, they have intentions to ask questions about pets or us about our account. So not everybody's going to get up to the mic, and unless we know who you are, we don't allow protected or private accounts to come up either, because we can't figure out who you are. So I apologize for that. So we know who CC is. CC has a protected account, but unless we know who you are or you follow us, we won't let you up. Tracy, go ahead.
Hold on.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi. How you guys doing?
We're good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. Not much over here. Ricky at least has stopped wrapping his paws around to bite.
Okay.
But because I've been talking about how he's been more bitey recently. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I mentioned that. I feel like I did though. But yeah. So he's at least not totally going for the chomp anymore.
Well, that's
but he's
good.
Still a bit bitey. I mean, he's 11, so it's not like he's a kitten, so he knows better. But he's still the best boy. And then this morning, he was very sweet and no bites whatsoever. So I'm hoping when I get home, he will just be his sweet self. But I'm not going to bring him to an animal behaviorist when he's 11. I'm he could just be I don't know, going through
11
a phase.
months or weeks?
No, 11 years.
Oh, 11 years old. Oh, he's just an old dog.
He's an old cat.
Oh, he's a cat. Oh,
yeah.
Heckin' cats, pardon my language. Yeah.
No, he's normally a good boy. But
yeah, we love your cat stories.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know, because I'm giving him a lot of attention, and he's still kind of bitey, so I'm not too sure about that.
I know sometimes animals will respond like that if they're in pain, though. I feel like if they're in pain, they might get a little chompy.
Your old guy might have a little bit of arthritis, do you think, or is it just playful behaviors?
I don't know, because he still gets the zoomies, so it's not like he's slow when he's zooming around the house and all that jazz. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, he is due for a vet visit, so I probably
that'd be a great.
Bring him to the vet. I just don't want them to be oh, now we need $1,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do every single test in the whole world. You know?
I hear you. Yeah, it's a catch-22. Hey.
Yeah, but still the best decision I've made is getting that cat. So.
Aw. I didn't think that Ginger would worm her way into my heart as quickly as she did, but man, I just love that cat so much. Chris is oh, you're holding the cat again. And I'm yeah, I'm not allergic to this one because of the science. There's a request from somebody. Again, we don't know who you are if you're not following us, and there's no way to contact you. You don't have your DMs open. So if you are asking to speak and we can't contact you and we don't know who you are, we're not going to let you up to the stage to talk. So I'm sorry about that. You can DM us. Our DMs is open and say, hey, this is what I'd like to talk about. So if you're that person, then just give us a DM. There's some fun comments in the chat, so I thought I'd go to that right now. Sarah Bram says that somebody who spoke, CC, You mentioned Cheapskate Bay. Did I say that right, Cece?
Chesapeake.
Chesapeake Bay. Sarah says, hi, fellow Marylander. There we go. Sorry, I'm Canadian. I don't know geography of the states that good.
You're good. Maryland's right next to Washington, D.C.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah,
Maryland's on the ocean. Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Sarah says, I might have a story, but I'm not able to put my mic on right now. Sadie lives with Lisa Bram and Larry Bram 1, and the two of them were just on vacation for 2 weeks. They got home yesterday, and apparently Sadie gave the most amazing welcome home ever. Okay, so that's cute. Cute comment. Sarah, thanks for your comment in the chat. Dr. Bev Stewart says, just a comment. This one's a really nice one for us. The pet chat and all the science podcasts makes my late night working so much nicer. It's 1:45 a.m. here in the UK, and I'm writing chemistry teaching materials. Lots of coffee. That's really nice. Kathy says, our cat has always greeted us with the dogs when we get home. I think when cats live with dogs, they pick up their behavior. Heather is happy that she mentioned Sticky Paws. Yeah, you bet. We're also very happy that you mentioned Sticky Paws too. Okay. Chris, did you bring somebody up? Sarah.
Yeah, I brought up Cerra. I just walked in the house.
Oh, hey, welcome back.
What are you eating, Bunsen? What is that?
I don't know. He's probably being a weirdo. Sarah and then Donna. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I joined late and I was trying to send you a DM, but it kept saying it wouldn't send. Is there a particular topic?
No, it right now in the community section, it's questions for us, but most importantly, we'll let people tell stories about their pets. It's story time.
Oh, well, quick story time. If you don't mind, I'll
No,
keep
go
it
ahead.
short, but we was going to Costco today, and you all know because I tell everybody, even strangers, that I lost my dog Popper a month ago on Wednesday because, you know, I'm sad. It's like you said, it's like losing a toddler. And we were pulling into our local Costco parking lot, and there was people often in this little alcove in the parking lot will park there. They'll have dogs or cats, or sometimes the local animal shelters will be there as well, because it's such a high traffic area, right? And there was a big sign that said Beagle puppies. And my husband, big, strong, man, squealed like a little girl. And
Oh, I would too.
He has a very deep voice. And so he was like, and actually he said, oh my God, beagles. And I said, calm yourself, lady. And I said, we're not going to stop. And he said, and no, we're stopping. So rather than, argue, of course I'm going to stop and hold puppies. We get out and there's a boy and a girl.
Oh. And
they're so small. I have a beagle, and she, a couple of generations back, was bred with a basset hound.
Oh.
So she's solid. She's, 50 pounds of solid beagle. So when they're 10 weeks old, and we saw them, and they're only about 6 pounds. They're so cute. These little tiny beagles. And I picked up the girl.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, she's so cute. She looked kind of like Copper Bear, which is evil. I should never have held her. And then, of course, I'm telling everybody around, I lost my dog. And so we weren't going to buy a beagle. So we gave her back. We went shopping into Costco. And as we were coming out and driving by, I said, do they still have those 2 dogs? Or did those 2 mean ladies that were holding that dog want to take him home? By the way, they were very sweet women that were holding this sweet girl, wanting to oohing and eyeing over her, wanting to take her home. But in my mind, they were mean. So like Cruella de Vil was taking this dog home. And before we got out of the parking lot, I said, I want her. And my husband said, well, I do too. And so We had to get our groceries home. I called. My husband had taken their number, of course, because they had puppies. We called them. They said, sure, we still have her. So my husband said, we'll be there in 15 minutes. And we picked up our Beagle girl.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. Now we have 3 dogs. I never thought I would even have one dog because I tell you, Jason and Chris, I was never a dog person. I was always a crazy cat lady. Dogs were kind of like, eh. But now I'm going to be one of those ladies that's going to be 90 years old and have to have my dogs taken away from me because I have 1,000.
Oh, well, let's hope it doesn't get that bad.
So we have a new puppy.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It's going to be a nightmare because I forgot that having a puppy is much like having an infant.
Yep.
But she's just, she's been home about 4 or 5 hours and she's just been in bliss. Very happy, very exploratory. And my husband now is taking a nap with her.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he got a new wife and now we have 3 dogs and we have to sleep in separate bedrooms because there's no way I'm sleeping with 3 dogs.
Sarah, is that the dog that you said, what should we name her? Is that the one?
We named her, yeah. We named her Daisy.
Oh my goodness, that's adorable. I put the picture up in the nest for everybody to see.
Yeah, she's tiny. That picture makes her look big, but we weighed her. She's only 6 pounds.
Yeah, it was Beaker as a puppy was just the little itty bittiest thing too. I think Beaker was a little bit bigger, obviously, but puppies are just tiny. Yeah, except for Bunsen when he was a puppy. Bunsen was a huge puppy.
Bunsen was probably born bigger than this dog.
I think so. And speaking of Costco, Chris, what did we do with Bunsen when he was a puppy?
Oh God.
We definitely took him to Costco and sat outside the door, and everybody coming in was like, oh, let me see this puppy. And he was just sitting there like a good boy, and everybody got to see him. And that was good. That was pre-COVID, of course.
Yeah.
So
that was we were we took him to Costco for just desensitization with like 100,000 people around.
Smart.
Yeah, and our trainer had ideas that Bunsen could be on a track to be a therapy dog because of, just how calm and kind he was. And then we're like, oh, well, okay, what can we do? And they're like, well, desensitize him to everybody. So we took him to Costco a couple times. So there's a picture of baby Bunsen up in the nest there. And, but unfortunately he broke his toe. Not much after that. We don't know how he broke his toe. And then he had to be basically on rest for 2 months while it healed. Otherwise it would have had to be amputated. And then that changed his personality a bit towards some people because he became like a COVID puppy himself for a while. But he's warmed up to, like, of course, people see him interacting with kids in the public. But it took him off the track to be a therapy dog for sure.
Oh, well, he needs a therapy person after that.
Oh yeah, we were so sad he broke his toe. But Sarah, I'm so glad that you have a little beagle. What a nice story. Did you see all the heart emojis people were chucking at you? It was pretty cute.
I wasn't looking down. I was chasing Charlie, our other puppy that we got 3 weeks ago because we are clearly crazy. And He's been a joy too. He's just really rambunctious. He's taken to, and maybe you guys could help me stop him from this. He takes, if we leave a sock on the floor, it's embarrassing, but he particularly likes underwear.
Oh yeah.
So if you leave underwear on the floor, he takes it, he drags it out into the front yard and leaves it there and then goes in and tries to find another. So my neighbors have seen 16 pairs of underwear in the front yard. They're wondering what kind of people we are. So what do? How do we make them stop? Other than pick up our clothes, which that is not an option, people.
That would be what I would say, right? The number one way you can stop puppies from getting into things is taking away the thing that they're getting into. Or catching them in the act.
Does he have a toy that's just as good as that? Like a Kong stuffed with like peanut butter or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you distract and if you catch the dog while they're dealing with, stealing the underwear or the sock, and you give them a Kong instead, and you keep doing that, they're like, well, I would just prefer the Kong to the underwear.
Hopefully, because it's getting kind of out of hand. And
You
also into the basket too.
Oh, sorry. You also can, I don't have a puppy right now, but if picking up clothes is a thing, you could get little bins that he's still too small to get into, and you don't have to put them away or into the formal hamper, but you could throw them into that, so that way it's harder for him to get into them because he's still so little.
We're clearly slobs that leave our underwear on the floor for our dogs to display for the whole neighborhood. So, my house.
Is there a chance that? Is there a chance that he would consider it a reward? He's getting a Kong when you're trying to get him to.
That can develop.
That's what I was thinking.
That's why you should ask for behavior before getting the Kong. So be like, no, and then go over to the fridge and be like, sit in front of the fridge. And then when the dog does it, then you give them the Kong. So it's they're not directly rewarded for the behavior of going to get the underwear.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if your dog ever gets it while you're not present, they'll just learn that they get in trouble while you're there. They know the difference, right? So I just made a habit of closing doors. My room might be messy, but I just shut my bedroom door, and then the main area, the dog doesn't get access to my entire house, right? Well, any of my dogs. I also have 3. I posted two of my dogs up in the nest. I don't have my my Malinois anymore, unfortunately. I got her, and she, to be real with y'all, she was just too much. She needed to work. So I did do dog training for a while. With the rescue and also with my course that I took, I had to do mentorship programs. So I had to teach classes in a local training facility, and the trainer had to be signed off as mentor or whatever. But so I reached out to him, and I was just like, do you think you could help me? Because she needs to work, no matter what I did, I couldn't work her enough. She needed a full-time job. So she went to doing protection work. So I don't really consider it as giving her away, but it's she needed to live her best life, and I could not provide that. And I know people get in over their head, and I did a good job with her, but she was fine to be kenneled, but I'm not going to kennel her for the amount of time that I'm working. And then I couldn't leave her out overnight because she'd chew on stuff. It's she could be a great dog for me, but she's going to be kenneled. That's not fair for her, right? She's very trained. I could do lots of different things with her, and she would be fine just sitting in her kennel for hours, but it's not fair at all.
That's a good point. So you do want your dog to live its best life, and depending on the dog's needs, it may not match your lifestyle, and to know that ahead of time is great. Jamie, did you have a comment? And then we'll go to Donna. Donna's been waiting. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, so we fostered puppies for 5 years, and having Rose as well at the moment. With puppies getting into stuff, we've got toddler gates or baby gates across a lot of our doors. And because we live in the tropics, we want to have our doors, most of our sort of walkways open to let as much breeze through as possible. So having the toddler doors, toddler gates across the hallways and stuff like that means that the teenagers can leave their crap on the floor and most of it doesn't end up out on the front yard.
Oh my goodness. Well, teenagers are adults
too. Yeah.
We have a baby gate that the dogs can't go to our basement, right? So that's what we have in our house.
Same sort of thing, yeah.
But the cat, Ginger, just looks at that and she's like, nice try, and just jumps over it in one single bound. Well, Sarah, thank you for sharing your story. We'll go to Donna, and then we'll go back to our speakers if they have anything else to add. Donna, go ahead. It's good to see you tonight.
Hi, y'all. So baby gates, yes. Ginger jumping over him. Callie was the same way until I got those clippy hangers to put on the top of them, and it got too high. So Callie can't get over him. So and the bobcat situation is out of control. So remember big old mama picture I sent you? There's several babies running around now too. So my Ring doorbell is catching all the shenanigans. So right now, doggy door is in, no pets going outside. Yeah, because you're seeing all the posts from the neighbors, like missing cat, missing dog, and I'm like, oh. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, another road trip, obviously. I just got home, and Callie is not happy with this. Oh, you're home. I'm so happy to see you. And then I do laundry the next day and pack and leave the next day. So it's going to wind down here pretty soon until I do the Machu Picchu trip. But I went to the Cincinnati Zoo, and I've never ever been. I've always wanted to go because they have the coolest little thing that they do there, where they adopt shelter dogs that nobody wants, and they use them to help raise cheetahs. So that they become where they can use them in displays to teach kids about how fast cheetahs are, and they play with each other. So Disney Plus had did a story on it, and I wanted to go see that live and in person. And so usually I make a habit of trying to bring Callie a gift when I come home, because she's usually pretty hot. So I bought her one of the cheetahs, and it's about the same size as her, stuffy wise. So I put it on the couch in my bedroom, and it is her baby now. So she's laying on it. Hopefully she's not a stage 5 clinger the next 2 days, and she's got a new friend for when I leave town. But everything status quo down here, hot, while the rest of the country's cold. And I hope you guys enjoy your winter soon. Sorry, Chris, you can always come visit. But that's my story this week.
Oh, the winter's coming, Chris. You can feel it on the breeze every morning and every night. It even it's starting to smell like winter outside. I'm sorry if that makes you sad, Chris. She's ignoring me. Cece, your hand's up. Go ahead.
Yeah. I second the amazingness of the Cincinnati Zoo. And they also actually, on their social media pages, like on their Twitter, they do post about the dogs and the cheetahs. And I think they also help with cheetah, have issues with like loneliness when they're kept in captivity, I think. And so I think that the dogs also help them.
100%. And the hippos are worth the trip alone. But yeah, it was, I'm not a big zoo person because I want to free all the animals, but that was pretty cool to see. It was worth the 2-hour drive from Columbus, where I was staying, and to go check it out. So if everybody's in Cincinnati, highly recommend.
Where the heck is Cincinnati in the United States? Like, is
it's
that
in Ohio?
Is that
it's by Kentucky.
Okay.
It's on the Kentucky-Ohio border, but it's in Ohio. So it's in the Midwest.
Okay, that helps.
The eastern half of the middle.
Okay, I've got it now. Got it. Okay, so it's south of the Great Lakes. Okay, got it. Perfect.
Yes.
I mean, everything is south of Canada. I'm sorry. But anyway.
Everything is east of Australia.
Everything is.
I'm in northern Alberta, so.
Oh, we're south of you. That's hilarious. Okay.
It could have snowed like last night.
Yep.
There's precipitation.
Yeah. Everybody who was in our space with John Rush, I think it snowed in Manitoba, and he was gleeful about that because he has now moved to Vancouver Island, and we just hate him for that. So thank you, John Rush, for posting about how nice the weather is on Vancouver Island.
I am from Vancouver Island originally, and then I moved up here, so I'm like, oil. I had to get a job. But I'm from Vancouver Island, and yeah, it's the most beautiful place in the entire world.
It is. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. No. Okay, so we're going to go back to our speakers as we do a little roundup close. Do any of our speakers have any further stories, questions, or comments before we close out the space? Chris, and I'll go to you first.
I would just like to say thank you to everybody for coming to our space tonight and sharing your stories. Bunsen and Beaker are doing very well. They're very happy. Bunsen, I just took him outside because he was barking. He was doing his toddler time bark. Yeah, and there's something that they're smelling very interesting outside. So I was very distracted for a moment.
Okay.
And now here's Cinder. Say hi. Meow. Can you hear her? She's meowing. She's walking on my phone. Now I have all 3 dogs here, or all 2 dogs and 1 cat. So it's just busy by my phone.
Yeah, Ginger walked on my computer, Chris, and I was working on a Google Doc, and I come back and there's like 9,000 pages on the Google Doc because she was sitting on the return key. I was like, wait a second, there's no way I wrote that many pages. And then I was like, oh, the cat. So
have you seen the soundboard at the bottom of Twitter?
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty good. There's
really, I've never. Ginger stepped on it. She walked on it and she opened it.
There's a dog bark. There's I don't know what all they do. Like, what's the kangaroo? Is it a boing? Oh, it's a little boingy sound.
It is
okay.
a boing.
All right.
But you know what's funny? Is we don't need the dog bark.
No, we don't.
We have a real live one.
No, we have Bunsen. Okay, speakers, do you have any questions, comments, or further stories before we close out? That's okay if you don't. I'm not forcing you to make something up at the drop of a hat. Sarah, go ahead.
I want to just say this is always my favorite space of the week, and I was sad that I joined a little late, but you two put on the best spaces, and I'm very thankful for that.
Aw, that's nice. Thank you. And when I try to make your cocktails and crime, because I love true crime. Is that what it's called? Cocktails and crime?
It is.
Crime okay.
Cocktails.
Crime and cocktail.
We haven't done them for a while. We're regrouping.
You're regrouping. Okay.
But this is still the best space on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, I'd like to add real quick. I've dropped into your spaces a couple times, but it's never been like for long. So it's been at the end. But I'm going to follow all you guys. That way I can come back. Because, yeah, I'm not in my training position anymore. But I still want to talk about it. I still love it, right? So, yeah, thanks for having me here.
And thank you for your advice today. I appreciate you giving Cece some help there.
Oh, yeah, for
yes,
sure.
Thank you so much.
You can ask me anything, any questions you have. I'll tell you just my experiences, I guess, for sure. If it makes doggies better, so...
So I think Indra's busy. Indra is our partner, and Indra runs spaces on positivity, mindfulness, and meditation. I'm putting her space up in the nest. I'll see if Indra is available to speak about it. If not, that's okay. I'll run through it. Give her a chance. No, she might be away. That's okay. So Indra's space on Monday is a music space. So if you click on the latest tweet up in the nest, she has a music guest I think she's coming up. Indra, you can speak now. There we go. I'll let you talk about it because you know more than me. If you can.
Yes. Yeah. 1500 Silverado.
Hello, Indra.
My first name's Matthew. I don't know if it's under my wife's name, Indra, I-R-A.
Okay. Well. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Okay. We're just.
I think they're making dinner reservations, and
oh, that's what it is. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. It sounds like they're making dinner reservations.
I thought he's like, my name is Matthew. And I'm like, no, your name's Indra. And I was like, wait a second, you're not a fake account. I was like, oh no, was somebody impersonating Indra? And I was so confused.
Probably her husband making
Maybe
dinner
we can all go to dinner
reservations.
too.
Okay, well, that's hilarious. But anyways, Indra runs great spaces as well. And her space on Monday is a music space. Tune in for some vibes and music. That's a new thing that she's doing every Monday. Our guest, and Chris and I run spaces every Tuesday evening on Science, where we bring a scientist to you. And we have Dr. Yane Valdez, who's going to be talking to us about the immune system. So she is an immunologist. She is so gregarious and so hilarious. She was on the podcast early in season 4, and she's willing to come back to talk to everybody about the immune system. Please come to it. She's so good. She's hilarious. And I think that's it. I think that is it for tonight. I'll give a plug to our sponsor, Bark and Beyond, barkandbeyondsupply.com. They are a small family-owned company that started out making joint supplements, but then switched to making and getting toys and treats and costumes. So if you're hankering for some dog stuff, check out barkandbeyondsupply.com. Okay, we'll do our little wrap up, and then that's good for the end here. There it is, the wrap up. Thank you everybody for coming to our space tonight. Chris, thanks for being the co-hostess with the mostest.
Hey, thank you for inviting me to be co-host with the mostest.
To people who are tuning in on Wisdom, thank you so much. To the few looky-loos on Clubhouse, thank you. And for the couple people who tuned in on Facebook Live, hello. And to everybody on Twitter Spaces, especially the speakers, thank you for coming up to the mic and talking. And again, if you were requesting the mic, just make sure that we know you a little bit more than just a protected account. There's no prize tonight. There's no something from our sponsor. We did not get a hold of them in time, so some people are asking. Sorry about that. We'll make sure we got something next week, and if not, then Chris and I will just give away some Bunsen and Beaker swag. Okay, take care, everybody. We hope you see you on Tuesday for Sci Chat, and as well in Indra's space with musical guest Mr. Daryusan. I think I said that right. Okay, take care, everybody, for science, empathy, and cuteness. Space closing in 3, 2, 1.